Here's something most people realize too late. You don't have a saving problem. You have an architecture problem. The reason you've tried to save money and failed isn't because you lack discipline. It's because you've been trying to save money the hardest possible way, by making a conscious decision about it every single month. That's not a strategy. That's a willpower contest. And willpower always loses. The people who save consistently don't have better self-control. They have better systems. They've set up their money so the right thing happens automatically, before their brain gets involved, before the weekend comes, before the sale shows up, before the excuse arrives. My name is Susan, and I've spent years studying why some people build savings effortlessly while others try harder and fall further behind. The answer is almost never about motivation. It's almost always about structure. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3-account system. It's not glamorous. It doesn't require a financial advisor or a spreadsheet that takes 6 hours to build. It just works. And once it's set up, it runs without you. First, understand why one account destroys saving. Most people have one checking account. Their paycheck goes in, their bills come out, whatever's left at the end of the month is theoretically available to save. That's the system. And it fails for one simple reason. Money that sits in your checking account will get spent. Not because you're irresponsible, because it's available, and available money attracts decisions. Every time you open your banking app and see a balance, your brain registers that number as what I have to spend. Even when you consciously know it should be saved, the number pulls. Economists call this mental accounting collapse. When money meant for different purposes lives in the same place, the boundaries between those purposes dissolve. Your emergency fund and your Friday night money look identical in one account. Eventually, they become identical. Waiting. Wendy gets paid $4,200 a month. She deposits everything into one checking account. She plans to save whatever's left after bills and normal spending. Most months, very little is left. Some months, nothing is. She's not overspending dramatically. She's just spending everything that looks available, which is everything. After 2 years, Wendy has $800 saved. She's not sure where the rest went. Structured, Sam gets paid the same $4,200. The day his paycheck hits, $630 moves automatically to a separate savings account, and $420 moves to a separate investment account. He never sees this money in his checking balance. It doesn't register as available to spend. He lives on $3,150, not $4,200. After 2 years, Sam has $15,120 in savings and $10,080 invested. Same income, same city, completely different outcomes. The only difference was the architecture. Account 1, the operating account. This is your checking account, the only one you spend from. The key is that this account should only ever contain what you've consciously decided is available to spend. Not your savings, not your emergency fund, not next month's rent sitting alongside tonight's dinner money. Just the operating budget for this pay period. Here's the number that matters. Your operating budget is your take-home pay, minus your saving and investing allocations. That subtraction happens automatically on payday, before you interact with the money at all. If you bring home $3,800 a month, and you've decided to save 15% and invest 10%, your operating account receives $2,850. That's your number. That's what you work with. This does something powerful psychologically. When you open your app and see $2,850, you don't have to remember what's earmarked for savings. Nothing is earmarked, it already left. The money you see is the money you have. Spending decisions become honest. Waiting. Wendy spends $3,800 because $3,800 is what she sees. Structured, Sam spends $2,850 because $2,850 is what he sees. The account balance becomes the budget automatically. One rule for the operating account. When it runs low, you spend less. You do not transfer money back from savings. The moment savings becomes a checking account backup, the entire system collapses. It has to be a one-way door. Account 2, the stability account. This is your emergency fund. Separate bank, ideally, or at minimum, a separate institution that requires a day to transfer from. The friction is intentional. You want this money accessible in a real emergency. You don't want it accessible when your friends invite you to a concert on Thursday. The target is 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, not 3 to 6 months of income. 3 to 6 months of what you actually need to survive: rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payments. For most people, that's a meaningfully smaller number than their income. If your essential expenses are $2,200 a month, your stability account target is $6,600 to $13,200. That's the number you're working toward. Here's what this account actually does for you. It removes financial terror from your life. When your car needs $1,400 in repairs, you don't panic. You don't put it on a credit card at 22% interest. You pull from stability, fix the car, and immediately begin replenishing the fund. The emergency was expensive. It was not a catastrophe. Waiting, Wendy has $800 total in savings. When her furnace breaks in February, $800 becomes $0, and she puts the rest on a credit card. She spends the next 4 months paying it off plus interest. She never gets ahead because every unexpected expense resets her. Structured Sam's furnace breaks the same February. He pulls from his stability account. He has the repair done. He increases his automatic transfer to that account by $100 for the next 3 months to replenish it. His investing continues uninterrupted. Same emergency. One person spirals. One person adjusts and moves on. The difference is $7,000 sitting in a separate account. How to build it when you don't have it yet. Start with $1,000. Just $1,000. That single amount absorbs the vast majority of common emergencies: car repairs, medical copays, appliance failures. It won't cover everything, but it will prevent you from reaching for the credit card on most bad days. Automate $150 to $200 a month toward it and leave it alone. Second, the full fund comes over time. Account 3, the growth account. This is your investment account. Brokerage, Roth IRA, 401k, some combination. The specific vehicle matters less than the habit. Every month, automatically, a fixed percentage of your income goes here. You don't decide whether to invest this month. You decided once when you set up the transfer. Now it just happens. This is where the math starts working for you instead of against you. Let's be specific. You're 30 years old. You invest $400 a month. At an average 7% annual return, conservative for a broad market index fund over a 30-year horizon, you'll have approximately $486,000 at age 60. You'll have contributed $144,000 of your own money. The remaining $342,000 came from compounding. You didn't earn that $342,000 by working harder. You earned it by starting, by staying consistent, and by not touching it. Now let's say you wait 5 years and start at 35 instead. Same $400 a month. Same 7% return. At 60, you have approximately $338,000. The 5-year delay cost you $148,000. Time is the only investment input you cannot buy more of. This is why automation matters so much, because the biggest risk to long-term investing isn't a market crash. It's a month where you didn't transfer the money because things felt tight, then another month, then the habit is broken. Then you're starting over at 38, wondering where the years went. What goes inside the growth account? For most people at the beginning, the answer is boring and it's correct. A low-cost index fund that tracks the broad market S&P 500. Total market. Something diversified. Something with a low expense ratio. Something you will not feel compelled to tinker with. You're not trying to beat the market. You're trying to own the market's growth over decades. That's a completely achievable goal with zero financial expertise required. Waiting. Wendy tells herself she'll start investing when she has more money. She's been saying this for 3 years. She's 33. She has $800 saved. Structured Sam is also 33. He has $10,080 in his growth account. He contributed every month, even the months that felt tight. He doesn't know the names of the stocks in his index fund, and he doesn't need to. The setup? How to make this automatic in one afternoon. Everything above is conceptually simple. The implementation takes about 2 hours. Here's exactly how to do it. Open a high-yield savings account at an online bank. This becomes your stability account. Online banks currently offer 4% to 5% interest on savings, meaningfully better than the 0.01% offered by most big traditional banks. The slight friction of a transfer delay is a feature, not a bug. Open a brokerage account or fund your existing retirement account. If your employer offers a 401k with any matching contribution, that match should be your first priority. It's an immediate 50% to 100% return on that dollar, which no investment will reliably beat. Set up 2 automatic transfers to trigger the day your paycheck arrives. First transfer goes to stability. Second transfer goes to growth. Both happen before you see the money, before you make any decisions, before the weekend. Decide your percentages. A workable starting point. 15% to stability until your emergency fund is fully funded. Then redirect that 15% to growth. 10% to growth from the beginning. Adjust based on your actual situation, but start somewhere. The specific percentage matters far less than the habit of moving money automatically. Now live on what's left. That's it. That's the system. Here's what happens when this runs for a year. Your stability account is somewhere between $1,800 and $3,600 larger. You've absorbed an emergency or two without debt. The car repair happened, the medical bill happened, you handled them. Your growth account has received 12 automatic contributions. Depending on what the market did, it's worth between 90% and 130% of what you put in. But you kept contributing through whatever happened, which means you bought shares when they were cheap and when they were expensive, which is exactly what long-term investing requires. And your checking account? It's been doing its job. You spent what was in it. Sometimes you had to be thoughtful near the end of a pay period. That friction is useful. It's your spending decision being honest about the actual budget. At some point in that year, you will have a conversation with someone who says they can never seem to save. And you'll realize you used to say the same thing. The difference won't be that you got a raise or got lucky. The difference will be that you stopped trying to save through willpower and started saving through structure. One-way doors, automatic transfers, money moved before your brain noticed it was available. You don't need discipline, you need architecture. Build it once, then let it run. If this gave you something practical to act on, subscribe. Every week, we break down the financial systems and behavioral patterns that separate people who build wealth from people who stay stuck. No gimmicks, just mechanics. Thanks for watching. See you in the next